Hello everybody, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. So Blizzard has released the Battlegrounds update. I wanted to go through that very quickly. It looks like there's a ton of changes for duels. We're gonna be talking mostly duel specific. That's since we spent most of our time with there. I've played a good amount of solos as well, but should be pretty interesting. There were a lot of egregious stuff in duels just because I don't think they prepared for how quickly and powerfully you can do things with extra economy. You just have more money, and one player usually is helping the other player supercharge their game plan, so you end up having these crazy boards, and then you sometimes use those extra resources to help your teammate, so you have two teammates with super crazy boards. So yeah, hopefully they tune some of that down. Tavern buffing, orchestra, there's a lot of little things, gem smuggler, that are really strong. So hopefully we'll see a lot of these changes in this update. Let's get started. First off, we have some hero changes. Gup is getting a change. Never played this. You really only pick it for the 20 armor. It looks like they're trying to make him playable. They've nerfed the health increase from 2-2 to 2-1, but now it costs 1 gold, which is a big deal. 1 gold is so much, especially with spells existing. Right now that your hero power actually costs things, because sometimes you'll just get a spell that's like, hey, here's a spell for 1 gold, gives you some stats. So when you're paying 2 gold for a hero power, it has to do something crazy, and it does not. So hopefully that helps it. It's losing 10 armor. Does this make you want to play Guff? Not really, but we'll have to see. But I'm just not a big fan of how you really navigate with this. It would need something more for me right now, but we'll see if other people play him and I lose to those players. That's really my sign of oh, this is better. Next, that's the only hero change. Now we have most of the juice, right? Some cards have been removed. The uninvited guest has been removed. Wow, the uninvited guest I think was the 6-drop. Right, no one really played this. And then Thorncaller and Sacred Gift. Thorncaller being removed. I like the card. Sacred Gift, sure, right? Being able to make golden minions, right? There was definitely, especially in duels, there was very abused cases with Sacred Gift because you could set up, buy the whole shop, and then get a golden brand or something like that. It was just very good. So it makes sense. Another thing with Stormcaller, or you could just get Sacred Gift every turn. Just here's a Sacred Gift every time. It was kind of strong. The following has been added. Hummingbird is back. Wow. Okay. Prophet of Boar. Sure. Cloning Conch. Sister Death Whisper. Scarlet Skull. A lot of these don't ring a big bell to me. I'll kind of have to look them up a little bit to see what cards these are, right? So, Scarlet Skull. I believe it's, yeah, okay, it's the 2-1. That being back, I don't think is a big deal. It doesn't really help undeads that much, in my opinion. Sister Death Whisper is the tier 6 minion, so that is just giving undeads a little something to do. I guess that's fine. Probably undeads were not doing very well in general. I'm not a big fan of undeads, especially in duels. It feels like it's just too weak. And then Cloning Conch is being added? Huh. That's interesting. This card was very crazy with Murlocs, but I can see Murlocs are not being played for tempo. You barely play it, so maybe this will give Murlocs a bit of I just see that using this to just get Murkai golden. That's how I look at this card. This golden's your Murkai. So I don't know if this is solving the problem they think they're solving. I feel like you're just gonna create more golden Murkais with this in there. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to, if you're playing Bream, you could get a golden, a big Bream, and then ship it to your teammate, right? That's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm not like super sold on this one. This feels like it's just making Murkai's kind of crazy. Next up, we have Rylak is getting changed. So Rylak is now only triggering one. They also nerfed the health, which actually is important. But yeah, now it's triggering the Battlecry of the mirror to the left of this. So you just play on the right, it triggers once instead of twice. Golden, I assume. Golden triggers adjacent, so it's not triggering left 2 times. So it's a pretty big nerf for Rylak. You still do Rylak stuff, but you can't go double messenger Rylak, which was like the meme, right? So pretty decent nerf there. Golden Warden is now giving +2/+4. Sure, I mean, I don't know if this saves Beast. Beasts need attack. Like, this is the biggest problem with Beast. They don't have any attack. So you're getting more attack with this. This is helpful. I don't think this is making me play Beast. Beast late game in duos is horrible. So they need something crazy. This isn't doing it for me. Sky Blazer is the only Beast I respected. It's moving to 5, so that makes sense because it's the Beast I respect. It was too good on 4, it seems. So they're moving it up to 5. It hurts. What's happening with the other one? Last year is moving to 4. I mean, honestly, all of that makes sense. Oh, they're nerfing Lasher though. They're only getting 1 health permanently instead of 2. Ooh, that's a big deal. So I don't know. I feel like they've made Beast weaker, and Beast already in duos at least was not really playable. It did have really good tempo early in solos. But even in solos, you'd still lose to the real comp that actually is playing a different strategy. So, not a big fan of the Beast direction so far. Maybe they get more stuff, but this is not looking good. Mech Horse to tier 4. I guess that's pretty good for Beast because that means your Lasher is going to be having access to Mech Horse pretty early, right? And Mech Horse is a beast, so you're just gonna pop. Scale. It's really good for both Sky Blazer and Lasher. That's a pretty helpful change. You'll see more mech horses in Beast comp. Spike Saver is now 8/2 with Reborn. Oh, it's also okay. So this happens so much to my opponents. They would play Spike Savior with the 1 health minions, and then the AoE would kill their minion. And then there was this one fight, they had Spike Savior. I hit it, and it killed 3 of their own minions. They had like three minions on 1 health, like intentionally. You know, like I think, or it was like 2 kindly grandmothers and like some other thing. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, what's the strategy here? They don't even know what their card does. So now you can't have that problem anymore. So saving people from themselves makes sense to me. Octosari starting at 8/8 actually. That's good for tempo now. It's an 8/8 summons an 8/8 that scales. That's good tempo. For tier 5, that's good tempo. So you might just buy this for tempo. This is definitely going to be better for Beast as well. But yeah. Especially with Mech Horse. Mech Horse is at 4 now. Like, this is actually going to get quite big. Actually a respectable card here. Can definitely see more people playing with this. Goldrin is getting a buff, sure. I don't think this changes anything. I mean, it's good with Mech Horse early, but it's not doing. Like, the days of, Macaw Goldrin are long gone. They're nerfing Fellblood, which makes sense. Fellblood was stupid. 3 attack is so much. Like, early game, 3 attack is so much. Even 2 attack is still pretty good. I'm still buying this. Backstage security, your job is to get eaten by Picky Eater. So that really hasn't changed. I'm not buying this. Wrathweaver is getting nerfed to a 1/3. I'm really not sold on Wrathweaver being strong. Like, when you compare it to Passenger just scales so much and you don't take any damage from it. So unless you get the God roll, this is really not worth it. And you're only getting +2/+1, right? Ardanasi, this reminds me of Juggler, basically. Just 5 damage Juggler procs. It's better to buy now, right? It's like 1/8 does nothing. 3/10 is actually a minion. Like, this is a good minion to buy for tempo, so kind of like what Juggler was supposed to do. So yeah, this is definitely the spirit of that. False implicator lost his stats. Sure. That doesn't change anything. If this card is good, it's good. That doesn't change anything. Misfit Dragging Lin. So when you buy it on 1, it's a 3/2 instead of a 2/3. Usually I'd rather have a 3/2. I mean, usually I'd rather have a 2/3. So this is a nerf to me. Don't know why you'd nerf this card. This card seems perfectly fine. I don't really understand why you'd nerf it. Skyfin's getting a buff. This makes sense. I tried to buy this in duos and it was horrible. It's just too slow in duos. You don't have the time to be buying battle cry just to pump this. Maybe in solos you can do it, but in duos it's just way too slow. Synthesizer's losing. Oh, it's going to tier 3 though, but it's losing health. I mean, an attack. It's going to tier 3, so there's just going to be more of these. What's going up, right? Something going up. Draconic Death Scale is going up to tier 5. This card is crazy good. There's too much Battlecry activators. Like, Mandari Messenger plus this is already like GG. Moving up to 5 means it's going to be a lot harder to do this, so. Might work. It might work for sure. Like, this was definitely a overperformer at tier 4, so I can see this. Caligos gains 2 attack and 2 health. I mean, it's so slow, man. It's so slow. I'm not sold on this doing anything. I think you really want this to, I don't know. Like, maybe if it was +2/+1, I might be like, oh, that's actually, you can actually contest. But as a 1/1, it's kind of hard to scale fast enough. Is my fear. But I'm talking from duos. Maybe in solos this is actually fine. In duos this is kind of a very slow way of scaling compared to some of the other things. Maybe they're nerfing all of the other options, but currently it's quite slow. Molten Rock gains a health. I like this. It always felt weird buying it as a 3/1. I'm down for the extra buff. Party Elemental gains an attack. Also down with this. I play a lot of Ellie, so extra attack may be helpful. Cyclone gains an attack. This is actually relevant. Yeah, Cyclone's getting a little bit better. I'm surprised they're buffing Ellies. I feel like Ellies are quite good. Like, honestly, maybe I'm biased. Wildfire Ellie is going to tier 3. This may be, to me, the biggest change, right? Tier 3 Wildfire. So something I like to do is get Azurite, right? Azurite's on 3. And a lot of good tavern spells are also on 3, while a lot of bad tavern spells are on 4. So if you go from 3 to 4, you gain access to all these bad tavern spells. So you just stay on 3, and you try to cycle, gain as many good tavern spells as possible, and then have really big Ellies. Now, sometimes you want to level. One of the reasons you would level is to get access to some of the better Ellies once you're big enough. Wildfire was one of them. Shelemental was the other like key one. You're moving Wildfire to 3, so it reduces that reason to level, especially 2/4, since you can just get these big cleave Wildfires on 3. It's huge. This is massive for Azurite gamers everywhere. They're all rejoicing. So this is a big buff for Azurite spammers. Yeah, I like it. I hope they're not touching Azurite. Okay, here is the pin is dropped. All right, they're nerfing Recycling Wraith. Understandable, honestly. Yeah, this is smart. This is a smart way of nerfing Azurite. Just nerf the Recycling Wraith. Yeah, that makes sense. And also, Recycling Wraith is just OP. I don't know why it was at 3. To be fair, I don't know why it was at 3. But yeah, now it's at 4, so it's going to be a lot harder. There's going to be less of them in the pool. It's going to be a lot harder to get them, especially for an Azurite gamer trying to stay on 3. You have to triple into this, which, you know, it means you're almost never getting a golden. So if you do that strategy, so yeah, definitely this hurts. Okay, they're balancing. You get a cleave. Here's your pittance, but we're removing your rerolls, all the extra gold you're getting. Yeah, this hurts. Yeah, it's gonna make Azurite a little bit worse. In duos, you can mitigate because your teammate can give you recycling rates, but it's still hard to get them comparatively, and your teammate probably wants him as well. So, like, when's the chance he's going to be giving you an extra raid that he doesn't want? Yeah, unlikely. This hurts for sure. Especially because you used to, like, if you were playing recruiter, you would sometimes pull from the spell. So, yeah, rough one. Landlubber is gaining stats. Huh. It's now at 5/7 on 4. So not chaining Tavern Spells, just getting 2 health for no reason. I think this card is good, especially with Azurite and stuff. It's just good cards, so. This makes it easier to buy generically. Even if you're not like trying to do a Tavern Spell specific comp, it just has good stats now, so that's helpful. Maybe their stats said it's not very good to buy. And then Ziliax for all the modules is going from a 4/3 to a 3/4. So it's a spider tank now. For a lot of them, this is a buff. A couple of them, it's a nerf. I'd say Divine Shield's a nerf, Reborn's a nerf. The others are buffs. So, I mean, you don't really buy this card anyways, but it's interesting to see the changes. You'd rather have the 8/6, right? Usually you had an 8/6 Divine Shield, Magnetize or something. So 6/8 a little bit worse. Scrapper loses a attack, but now gets Battle Cry added to it. Huh. They're really trying to sell Battle Cry support. They really are. Really trying to sell Battlecry support. Get a random magnetic mech. So now you can play this with Murk-Eye and Draconic. That is a mech buff that might actually help mechs for once. Might actually try some stuff. I mean, right now people are just playing Beatboxer. Like that's at least in duels, that's really the only, and the other the skill, the attack of all your Divine Shields. Those are the only 2 you see. But yeah, now you can try Battlecry mechs. That's a new one. I want to see how this goes. I could definitely see this being problematic, but just because some of the Magnetize give you economy, right? So if you're able to like skill that, you get like 6-7 magnetized mechs with Draconic Death Skill, with Murk-Eye, and then you're getting a Cordotron all the time. You might start the especially with Beatboxer, you might start the turn with like 26 gold, right, in the late game. So could see that being problematic. But I'm down. Mechs are kind of weak in my opinion, at least in duels. So happy to see some changes for them. Utility Drone also getting a buff. Okay, they're really liking mechs here. So 2-1 versus 1-1 is big difference. It means your mechs will have a lot more attack. So this is good news for mech players everywhere as well. They also buff the base stats, not that important. Lobber is gaining a lot of stats. Yeah, 1/6 was so low for a 5-drop. Like it was like this. That was 4-drop stats. A 1/6 as a 5-drop, it just kind of hurts. So I don't know. I'm not super big fan of this card. Maybe with the better stats it'll be more engaging, but Avenge 4 is quite hard. Especially if you're playing, mech demons. You have to kind of be lucky with that because you have shields and stuff, but maybe you can find a way to make it work. And then charging Zarina, I assume. You get some nerf here. Up in the base stats, but you're gaining 2 attack versus 3. 3 attack was a lot. Especially if you had 2, that's 6 attack per Tavern spell for all your minions usually, or like 6 of your minions. That's just a lot of attack. Basically, a catch every spell. Kind of crazy, so it makes sense to nerf this. I think it's fine. I still think it'll be playable. Winterfinter getting +2/+1 instead of 1/1. I'm okay with this. It means if you buff Divine Shields, they're going to be a little bit better. I'm down. I don't think it's a problem. Merc 2. This one was quite good. Oh, they're nerfing it. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. This card, anytime Shady played with this, I was like, damn, this is way better than I expected it to be. Then they're nerfing it, so it was way better than I expected it to be. Yeah, going down to Avenge 4, that's big. That hurts a lot. So I don't think this is gonna be on my radar to be picking up super high anymore. But it was good while it lasted. It was definitely on like the line of broken, so I kind of understand. Like if you had a good board for this thing was like so crazy effective. Bream getting a buff as well, losing some stats, but you're gaining attack. So essentially, you lost one health, but you gained a ton of attack. I think that's a good trade-off. So yeah, they're trying to make people play Bream. People aren't really playing that right now. It's just kind of not necessary. There's more broken things you can do, especially with battle cry stuff. Like, if you have a brand and a draconic death scale, Bream is like the last thing on your mind. So, kind of makes sense. Magma Lock going to tier 4. Kind of like Peggy. This was scary. This is scary. Tier 4 Magma Lock. Once it used to be tier 4 back in the day, and it was very good. Now they're bringing it back. I guess. I mean, this is interesting, right? Like I'm a little worried about this one. This could be problematic. But maybe not. I mean, there's no more there's no more the one that skills from elementals. That card, that was really what made this like really strong. So that's not in the game anymore. So it might just be fine now that I think about it. And once again, people are making like 800 stat minions. Like, this is not doing that. So I think it's probably okay to put it back to 4. Primal Fin moving to 5. Yeah, honestly, I get it. This is the problem, child. Anytime there's problems in the meta, this is one of them, and it still does that. Yeah, it's just very good. So I'm down. It used to be on 5. It got moved to 4, back to 5. I get it. Gladiator gaining some stats. 1 was just very sad, right? Even when you had like a 6-1, there were just two. There's a lot of things that deal 1 AOE. Right, with Firestarter in the game, it's just like not good to have a 1 health minion. So I think this just makes sense. And we have Deep Crooner. This card is so slow. They are making it tier 3. Okay. And also better base stats. Tier 3 is a big deal. It means you might buy this randomly, and then maybe it's big enough that you might actually do it. And Zesty's still on 3, I assume, or... Oh no, Zesty's on 4. Okay, so that's how they're balancing it. So instead of Zesty on 3, Zesty's on 4, and then Crooner's on 4 instead of Crooner on 3. This makes sense to me because you want Crooner before you want Zesty, right? Like, if you're going to be playing Zesty Crooner comp, you want the Crooner first so that you can buff up and then combo with the Zesty, right? The Zesty is the engine, but you have to buy the Zesty engine first before you get the Crooner and hope it's fast enough, and it's not. So now you get the Crooner engine first, and then you hit a Zesty, and you're like, oh, this is already +6/+6 with a Zesty. That's really quite good. So I think this might actually make this playable. That's a good change, at least in duos. Could be toxic in solos, to be fair. This could be toxic in solos, but in duos it seems fine. Shipwright is a 2/5. Yeah, this does nothing. Okay, this does nothing. Time Cap Hooktail is now a 2/5. Yeah, once again, I think this does nothing. Like, either this is +2 attack, or... Yeah, honestly, +2 attack. Oh, it buffs itself now. Why did it not buff itself in the first place? Like... I did not understand that. Yeah. Okay, sure. I mean, I'm not sold on either of these changes so far. Record Smuggler is a big difference. So now it's a 6/6, a better base stats. At the start of your turn, you gain 2 gold instead of 1 gold. Repeat. If you control at least 3 powers, gain 2 more. So it's not 1 to 7. It's now 2 or 4. So this is a nerf for Shady and a buff for me. because I don't really run pirates. But it does mean you can just go like Peggy, Cleave, Rockert, Smuggler, and be happy, right? Like that's kind of good. So it does mean you can just like even if you have no pirates, this is your only pirate. You're getting 2 extra gold per turn. Like that's not bad. So honestly, I think this is a buff for most people. Like Shady might not like it, but everyone else in the world, like I feel like this is a buff at least to me. He's gonna be like this. They nerfed my best boy. That's what I'm gonna be hearing. But yeah, I like this change. But I can see if you're a big pirate player, you might not. Gem Smuggler, please nerf this. It's tier 4. Ew, why? And it's 1 blood gem instead of 2, but it's tier 4 now. That's still good. I don't know. I mean, you're cutting the scaling in half, right? Like the problem with this is this with Murkai was crazy, right? You get Murkai to trigger with Brand, and sometimes Rikari, and then you're playing like 16 gems on all your minions, something like that, right? So now you're getting half of that, the scaling slower, but it's still really good, and you get more of them, so it's gonna be easier to golden. I don't know. Like I'm not sure this solves it. I would still just keep this at tier 5. Personally, that's my thoughts. But Quibblers are still gonna be good. Like this isn't stopping Quibblers, so they need to do something a little bit more. Bonehead to 1/1. Yeah, 0-2 is just awkward. I'm happy with this. It means this is a good like Lich King target. I mean, it's already a decent one, but it's better for Noah for sure. So. Yeah, Lich King's happy for sure. Undead players are also somewhat happy. It's just a buff. Hateful Hag ganging attack. I saw like this really stupid infinite comp with the Hateful Hag and the Reborn Beast, but the card itself is a little awkward, and a 4/2 does nothing. So 6/2 maybe is a little bit better, yeah. Abomination gaining 3/3 across the board. Yeah, at least in duos you could never buy this because it was so slow. Especially in duos, Avenge is like quite scary because half the time, especially if you're buying this, you're the weak player in the lobby, like of the team. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're buying this, you're the weak player of the team. So sometimes your teammate will just like full clear both sides and you gain no scaling. It's like I was very on point with like, yeah, Avenge is going to be a lot worse than duos. It is, and I don't think this saves it. Maybe in solos this might actually help, but in duos I'm not really buying this because of this. Moros is getting nerfed. Once again, this feels like a solos adjustment. Didn't really see a lot of Moros in duos. Losing a health is kind of important, so. Undead's I guess they're getting buffed, right? They're getting buffed more than getting nerfed. They're just nerfing the main comp you'd play with it. Fire Dancer gaining an attack, sure. This card actually been good, especially with beasts. It's also good for another way of dealing with divine shields. So I actually kind of like the card. I think it serves multiple purposes. Wing Chimera is getting a new way of playing the card. That's very cool. That's interesting. It's now at 1/5. Whenever this takes damage, give a friendly minion of each type +1/+1 permanently 3 times per combat. That's cool. So you play this, and now you have like kind of like a light spawn, kind of like the problem is like late game this gets like things get one shot, right? But you still get +1/+1, so you kind of like a light spawn thing. This is kind of cool. 1/5 base though. I mean, you can buff it, right? Like there are ways to buff, like just buff the attack. I mean, buff the health, right? Play like anything that gives you health, and then you like it triggers 2 times, get 2/2 per turn. It's a light spawn. This is a light spawn on 4. It just requires work. That's cool. Light spawn though these days is not that strong, right? That's the issue. But it's cool to see. I'm hyped for this. I might try it. I mean, it's on 4. The nice thing is on 4, so you can just buy it, scale up some of your core units for a little bit, and then, and especially like some of your core units are like multi-type, so you can run a Dragon Naga, Ender Dragon, or Ender Naga, and still be fine. So this seems kind of sick. I'm down for this a lot. Next up, we have Fungus getting 2-2 instead of 1-2. Yeah, it's always weird getting like a 76 132. Just give me a 132 132, please. So I think this will help. I will say it's in duos. It's been slow. Like I've never bought this, and it's been bigger than my minions ever. By the time I'm in Tavern 5, and I've casted spells, my minions are way bigger than this. Maybe it's gonna be helpful. Like my use case of this card is for Shell Elemental. I play Shell Elemental and then I gain extra stats. That's my use case here. Not because I'm buying this. Unforgiving Trench gains an attack, okay. And now you're giving your minions +2 attack permanently. 1 attack for a tier 5 minion is so bad, especially because people just one-shot this card. So you buy this and then it gets one-shot. I mean, this is one of the ways you give your beast attack, but it's just not consistent. It's not a beast itself. So it just doesn't really have a good place, especially in duos with catch existing. Like you can give all of your minions like 40 attack with catch. And you're expecting me to buy this for 1 attack when it takes damage? It's gonna take 1 damage, you gain 1 attack. Like I'm not sold on it, but maybe it's a little bit better. I still don't think I'm buying it, but maybe beast players in moments of desperation might buy this and feel a little bit better about themselves when they die. So, yeah, Nala's getting a buff. Yeah, Nala was too slow in duos, at least. Just didn't feel that good. You gain 2+1, and everything else is scaling infinitely. So +2/+2 now might feel better. It still doesn't have a type, so you're still not really going to gain a lot from it, but it is going to be better. I'm happy to see this. Nala was definitely one of the weakest 6s that I rolled. If I rolled Nala, I'm like, I'm probably losing. So it's not a Greybow or Greymane. Where Greymane, I get that. Okay, I have a game plan, and then they're gonna nerf Greymane. I knew it. I knew it. After you play an even tier card, give your even tier minions +1/+1. I don't love this because I'm still gonna try it, but the odd one, right? The odd one just feels really bad in comparison to the even one, right? The even one, at least you have good targets to buff, right? You can buff tier 6 cards, especially the mechs. The mechs are really good. Tethys is really good. Those are like some of the key hits. The cleaves are, well, the pirate cleave was on 4, it moved, right? So now the elemental cleave's on 3, but the cleaves were on 4. So you just had a lot of good targets. Now it's half. You're cutting that in half. That's a big deal. I will say, like, it's a big deal. I don't have like a lot of good things. We'll see. I will try it, right? Like there's still enough good graces for Greymane that I will try it at this nerf state. But I'm expecting to be like, ooh, it's slow now. So we'll have to see. Moon Eater is nerfed, right? They're nerfing Moon Eater? Oh. Does it buff itself? Oh, it buffs itself. Oh, okay. Okay, it buffs itself. That helps a little bit. Okay, that helps a little bit. It buffs itself. Same thing here, that helps a little bit. I might try this, maybe, and I might also, I will be trying Greymane as well, so maybe this is helpful. Alright, that's a good, at least salvage for the card, because I was really about to write it all off. Cupcake moving to 4 gold. I think this is super fair. Messenger was broken. I guess they're going to do duo-specific changes in their own section. Yeah. Cupcake was super... I think this was the best minion type one, like, by far. Just, like, You gain like a lot of times. This was like gain 1,000 in stats. Like the way people like at least in the current dual climate, you were gaining so much tavern buffing that this was just like for 3 gold gain 1,000 health and your minion. It was so crazy. So yeah, making it 4 gold I think is a little bit better. Them apples to 1-2 finally. Yes, this card is by far like crazy strong. This had to happen. I get it. It's still gonna be good. Boon of Beetles to tier 4, but now you get 4 instead of 3. Yeah, I mean Boon of Beetles on tier 3 didn't really matter. You're never buying it on tier 3. But you're summoning a beetle with taunt. Okay. That's good. Okay, with taunt. All right, that's helpful. That's helpful. That's a good change. I like this. Okay, that's a good change because now you can block because it always summons to the right. Right now you can block cleaves a little bit. You can block like deflecto shields, divine shields in general. Like this is helpful. You want them early. You can block Leroy. Like I think this is a good change. I like this, and you get 4 of them. Like yeah, all right. I'm down. You've sold me. So this is suspicious. Oh my god, stimulant. It's now tier 4. Okay, and 4 gold. I really only see people with playing this with Azurites. And I guess this makes sense with Azurites. I don't know how you played for other things. I guess it's strong with like Janus still. Stuff like that. But yeah, you just make big elementals and then you double them. Now you can't do it on tier 3. You have to level for it. I think that's probably fair. I think it's fair. I don't really have a problem with this. Scavenge for parts is now 2 gold instead of 4 gold. They mechs must have sucked because this is a big buff for mechs here. And I mean, even if you're not playing mechs, you just buy this. It's well, you have to have extra gold, or you have to like not care. But yeah, it means you're paying 2 gold for 3 gold in over 3 turns, which is not horrible, right? And sometimes you can high roll the magnetic, like maybe the magnetic that gives you gold. I mean, if you're playing mechs, this is a no brainer anymore. You don't have to think about it. So I like it. I think this makes sense. Give the mech something to do. Cloning conch. Oh, it's different. You get a random Murloc and a copy of it. Oh, okay. Okay, you get 2 Murlocs. Okay, that's fine. I think that's helpful. No more like super, super breams. I think this is a more balanced version of it. Sure, you could maybe get triples, right? Very easily. I can see it. All right, duos only. Wow, these are the non-dual stuff. And we're already 40 minutes in. I'm sorry, guys. 2-2. Okay. The first time your team passes each turn, gain +1/+2. Okay, I like this. It's still playable, but you have to get it early. But it's still scaling health. Like you're still gonna have like a what? 3, 4, 4, 4, 6, 5, 8. Yeah, I'm down. I think this is super fair. Like a 5/8, you're still gonna buy. It's just not gonna be like super crazy, but yeah, I like it. And then it having lower base stats means that you have to kind of pay a price. Because you didn't have to pay any price for this at all. Like if you buy this, you don't pass. You still give a 2/3, which is better than most 1-drops. Like why is it so good? Here, you at least if you don't pass, you're gonna feel it. Like you're buying a 2/2. So I'm down. I'm down for this change. Geomancer going to 1/1. I mean, Quillboards might need a nerf, but this ain't the line. I guess for duos, right? Like I guess it's good. It's good for duos. It must have overperformed, right? Because they're nerfing it in duos. And it was a decent card. You are gonna take some damage, at least the first turn. But you're getting 2 jumps a turn, maybe more. I can see it. Orchestra or Conductor's back. It's a 4/2. Give a minion 2 +2/+1. Upgraded for each orchestra or conductor your team has played this game. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Does it mean it doesn't work with Rylak? I guess that's the question. Does this work with Rylak? Does this work with Draconic Death Scale? Or do you have to actually play it? And then it means it only works with like Jandis and Goya or stuff like that. +2/+1. I mean, the scaling is a little bit lower, but I don't think you want this being the strongest comp in the game, period. So I'm down for it to be weaker. I don't care. Like, you don't want this being the strongest comp in the game. It's too much of a meme. No text change now. Only summons up to 1 copy of each of your teammates' minions. I guess it means you can't summon the same minion twice. Right? Like, this is to prevent infinite loops. Because what people would do was have a Reborn Rag and Magnanimous, and that was it. Right? And then the Reborn Rags would summon... would give Reborn to the Moose, and then the Moose would summon Reborn Rags, right? That would now just attack, give Reborn to the other one you summoned, and then just have that cycle forever. So now you can't do that, I think. I think that's the idea here. Especially for golden versions. Okay. Prancer getting a buff. Yeah, Prancer was just not good in comparison. Especially because you got Prancer when Catch exists. And you would never... Why would you ever play Prancer when people are going to have played Catch and have like 20 attack on all your minions and then poof, you get destroyed? So this might help it see play. I'm sure Catch is getting nerfed, so we have to see that. Messenger is going from +2/+1 to +1/+1. It's still probably good. Though they have nerfed Rylak, they have nerfed Draconic, right? So it's going to be harder to do this. You can't force it. But if you roll it, it's still good. You just can't force it. Catch is going from 2 attack to +2. Yeah. Still probably good. I mean, it's almost definitely good. We'll see if it's like it's worse, right? This still, like, giving 20 attack or like 12 attack is still pretty good, right? So I do wonder. I don't know if this is going to be bad. I guess it's still going to be good when you play it. Like, the window when you play it is still going to be good. And I guess that's fine. And then we have some fixes. There's been a lot of bugs in Duo, so hopefully we get less of that. But overall, those are the changes. Overall, I'm happy with the changes. I think there are a lot of good... Like, the direction is definitely good. The direction is absolutely good. They've targeted a lot of the problems that I would think about: Messenger, Catch, a Passenger, Orchestra. So many of these like little things. Even the non-duo stuff is also pretty good. Like, this Boon of Beetles is intelligent. Apple's nerfed. Greymane's nerfed, which is understandable, you know. So a lot of good stuff here. Overall, I'm happy with it. Definitely gonna have a lot to talk about with Shady tomorrow, but yeah, that's the video. I know it's a long one. Take care of yourself on a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.